Hey, welcome back to another Friday Live with Dr. Karwana Irving. Welcome in. If you are here, give me some fireballs in the chat if you're ready to learn about the poverty programming trap and how to avoid it, because I'm going to go in today, y'all. I'm going to go in today. Are you ready for it? Throw some fireballs in the chat if you believe that you are ready to learn how to avoid the poverty programming trap so that you can be on your way to creating massive wealth for yourself and your family. Throw some fireballs in the chat. So for those of you who are just joining me, I am Dr. Karwana Irving. I am a wealth creator / government contracts expert, and I help high-level entrepreneurs who are already making money in their business. I help them actually quickly scale their business to massive, lucrative government contracts. So if you are here because maybe you have a business that you're already making some money and you want to know how to actually create more wealth abundantly, right? With your business, then you're definitely in the right place, because today I'm going to talk about some of the poverty programming traps that you will need to avoid in order for you to actually create massive wealth in your business. So I want to shout out Atia. Hi, Atia. Hello. Melva. Hello. Hi, Christina. Welcome in. So drop those, states where you're from. If you have a business already, let me know what type of business. You can put that right in the chat, what type of business that you have. So I'm excited for the upcoming, season that we're in, because we're going to be doing a lot of more, interactive, engaging things. You guys are going to have the opportunity to subscribe to our YouTube membership, and you can come on live with me, ask questions, promo your business, all that stuff. We're going to be doing some amazing things in the new coming season. So, hey, the Kawan family from Atlanta. Hello. Phoenix, Arizona is in the house. Melva, awesome. So today we're going to be talking about some things about the, poverty programming. Like, you probably have never heard that concept, or maybe you've heard the concept, but you didn't really understand. So today I'm really just going to dive into that. If that's okay with you all, I'm going to dive into that. But today I'm going to be talking about a lot about avoiding the poverty programming trap, but also I'm going to be speaking some things around abundance. Now, I want to share with you, I want to explain to you my definition of abundance so that you'll have some context as we're going through today's training. So the definition of abundance, my own definition. Hey, Helen from South Carolina, of abundance is exponential amplification of resources, opportunities, and successes where growth begets more growth, creating a ripple effect that leads to a compounding effect that generates ever increasing wealth. So that is my definition of abundance, so that we're on the same page and you guys are understanding, because a lot of times you hear these concepts and words and everybody has their own definition. So now we can get on one accord with that. So I'm going to take you back a little bit. So for those of you who've been following me, I do extract biblical principles for success right out of the Bible, because all of the answers are there. In fact, when doing research, what I discovered is about 3/4 of the Bible. That's 3/4, 3 out of 4, right? 3/4 of the Bible speaks on creating wealth and abundance and prosperity. The other small percentage is talking about faith and it's talking about faith and religion and all that other stuff. Like it talks about that very little compared to the 3/4 of the Bible and the scripture that talks about money and abundance and creating wealth and multiplying and all these things. So that's one myth that we can dispel, that if you're a Christian or if you're a believer, that you're supposed to walk around in poverty, right? And only just give, but not ask to receive and all that stuff. Like, those things are just like old practices, right? They're not principles at all. Those are old practices that are anti-scripture. All right, so yeah, some of this stuff, like, and I will say that some of this stuff that you guys are going to hear today is going to initially seem counterintuitive, because coaching is counterintuitive, meaning that if you already think that you know everything, the things that I'm going to say is going to seem counter your beliefs. So, but if you already knew these things, you would already be producing producing wealth and abundance for yourself. So you have to be open to receive. You have to be open to be coachable and open to learn new things, right? In order to have new wealth, right? And so I'm gonna share with you all in Genesis, right? I'm gonna go back to Genesis just to kind of build a foundation, and then we're gonna get into some of the poverty programming that we can actually break for ourselves. At least if we're aware of it, then we know how to break some of these programs that have been instilled and installed into us, right? So in the beginning of the Bible, Genesis, God talks about His creation, and I'm gonna just briefly, like really quick, go through this. Like on day one, God created the heavens and the earth and the light. Day two, He divided the waters from the sky. Day three, He pulled back the waters to reveal the dry land and told the land to produce vegetation and plant fruits, right? So He delegated. He delegated. He didn't go do everything, and He could have did everything all Himself, but He delegated, right? So you have to listen and read the Bible and pull out the gems, and apply these things to your life. If you believe that it's just going to be you that goes out to build a business, you that goes out to create wealth, then guess what? God didn't create the world by Himself. He delegated. He put things into position and gave them commandments to do the work, right? So, and then day four, God created, He separated the night from the day and gave the sun rule over the day, the moon rules over the night. Day five, He told the waters to bring forth abundantly, right? There's that word again, abundantly, right? The multitude, the moving creature that hath life and fowl and may fly above the earth in the firmament of the heaven. And God created the whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, again, after their own kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. On day six, God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his own kind, which means that the living creature has to multiply itself after its own kind, and creeping thing and the beast and of the air after its own kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after its own kind, and the cattle after his own kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his own kind. God saw that it was good. And on day seven, God said, not day seven, and God said, day six still, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them do what? Have dominion over all these things that I just created. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and all those things, right? So, and Genesis 1:28 goes on to say, and God blessed them, with meaning man, that means you, that means me, that means human beings, right? He blessed us. And He said to us to do what? First commandment, go, be fruitful, and multiply. That is a commandment. And replenish the earth and subdue it, right? To put back what you take out, and subdue the things that hold you back, right? To subdue, to stomp on, which means you're above your circumstance, whatever's holding you back from being fruitful and multiplying, you're already above it, right? You just don't know that you're above that. So whatever that situation looks like, maybe it looks like it's overtaking you, but no, you're already above it. He says to subdue it and to have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl, to have dominion over every living thing that moveth upon the earth, every situation, every circumstance. That is the commandment, for you to have dominion over those things, right? So as you see, I just kind of gave you a brief history of the foundation of life, but also the foundation of who we are as human beings and the power that we have. So if you don't know that you're powerful, I'm here to tell you that you are so much more powerful than you are. And you already have within you all of the gifts, the knowledge, the skills, and the information that you need to actually go out and be fruitful and multiply. But here's the thing. In school, we have learned, and this is where the beginning of the programming starts, right? So back in history, the institutional educational system was designed to dumb us down. It was designed for you to have very basic knowledge and for you to actually have the mindset of poor, middle class, poverty, right? But also have the mindset of consumers and workers, right? So already the system here where we live in this here United States, where we live, the system was designed to dumb us down from what God has designed us as human beings to be able to do. It's designed to dumb us down for various reasons, right? Various reasons mean that somebody else is having dominion over us, our lives. Somebody else is benefiting off of our abundance and all those things, right? They're taking our little and making it much for them, right? But you have the power to take your little and make it much for you. And I'll explain this in just a moment. But I'm gonna share with y'all this. I want to share this genealogy, right? So I was just kind of doing some research on genealogy and how like everything is multiply. Everything was designed to multiply, not to add, right? But yet when we think about growing and making more money, creating wealth, we're talking about adding our income and revenues, adding it. We're talking about adding your maybe your W-2 income or maybe your small business income. You're adding that with maybe your retirement, or maybe you're adding it with spousal support or child support, wherever your sources of income. We're adding 1 + 1 is 2, 500 plus 800 is 1200 or whatever, 19, 11, so 1300, right? So we've been adding all along, where in the Bible scripturally, it says to go be fruitful and not to add, but to multiply your wealth. And here's the clear example of like how like we were designed like this in every area of our life, every aspect, how we were created to multiply. So let's just take as far back as I can go is my grandmother. I wish there was a genealogist that can come and help me track my lineage back, to great grandma and great. Like, I don't even know how to do that. And I really don't even have time to do it. So that's why if I knew someone who did it, I would gladly pay you to help me track my lineage back. So let's just say, as far as I can go back, and this is going to make sense for you guys in just a moment. But as far as I can go back to grandma. And grandma had 6 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So grandma multiplied. And by the way, when in the Bible, it's not just talking about having children and multiplying in that way. It's talking about prosperity and abundantly multiplying your income, your revenue, your wealth, your lifestyle, your health in every area, right? But people got stuck on this part. But so grandma had 6 kids. It was my mom, my auntie Betty. I'm just gonna put Betty. My auntie Pat. My auntie Mayola. I'm just gonna put May. And then my uncle James. And then my uncle Junior. So grandma had 6 kids. My mama had 7 kids. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My auntie had 5 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My auntie Pat has 1 child. My auntie Mayola has 2 kids. My uncle James has 1 child, and my uncle Junior had none. He had no children at all. So now you go from 6 to 6 plus 7 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. So that's 6 plus 7 is 13, 40, 50, 60, 70, 18. What's this? 19, 20, 19. What is this? 19, 20, and then 21. So you go from 1 to 6 to 21, right? And then I have 4 kids. My brother has 3 kids. My other brother has 1 son. My sister has 3 kids. My other sister has 1 kid. And then my other brother has 1 kid. So then we have 21 plus, that's 25, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So this is 34. And then we have, who is this? My mama, my Auntie Betty. So my Auntie Betty kids have a lot of kids. So as you can see, right? So they have a lot of kids. So one of them has 5 kids, another has like 6 kids, another has like they have a lot of churn, right? But as you can see, these numbers are not 1 + 1 = 2 + 1 = 3. It's 1 times 6. Now you're growing by multiplication is 6. 6, 12, 18, almost times 4. Now every generation we're multiplying, right? So even with genealogy of our biological humanity, we're supposed to also multiply with our revenues, because it's you guys know I talk about multiplying wealth, creating exponential wealth. Well, how do you do that, right? So you don't do that by one customer time or plus one customer, or one paycheck plus one paycheck. We've gotten it all wrong, right? You do that by multiplying 1 times 5, right? So you take 1 5 times, and then that's 5, and then you multiply each of these 5 by another 5, or it can be whatever the number is going to be, right? So that's 5, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's 25, and then together that's going to be 30. So just as an example, you're supposed to multiply your wealth, right? So how do you do that, Dr. K? Thank you, Howard. Hey, Howard from Philadelphia. You're supposed to multiply your wealth, right? But we've been adding our wealth all along, adding money, trying to figure out how to make $1 out of 15 cents, and how to, pay our bills and all this stuff. So when you're adding, on the other side of addition, the opposite of addition is subtraction, right? So when you're adding, you have to subtract, right? And so every dollar that we've been making it, right? How do I say this? We've been making it so very slow to where we fear loss, we fear losing it, right? So instead of doing what God said and multiplying our money, we've been spending our money. So when it comes time to invest our money, then we're afraid, because all we can think about is spend. All we can think about is spend and lose, right? But investing is completely different from spending, right? Because it says you should be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of living water, right? What does the rivers of living water do? What does it look like, right? Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop sharing. I'm gonna share my screen again. What does it do, right? When you think about the rivers of living water, it looks like this. It's flowing. It's a stream. It's flowing. Flowing water is called currency, right? And I'm gonna help some of you out today, like with the information that I'm gonna share with you. It's gonna blow your mind. It's called currency. Still water that's not moving, it's just still, is dead, right? Another word for currency, like money, is another word for currency, right? Money is currency, but it has to be moving, which means that you have to put it into circulation in order for it to live, in order for it to bring you back the multitude of abundance. And I'm going to explain to you. So I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by that. Money has to move. If it's sitting there, then really you're consuming and you're spending it, which is why you end up with nothing at the end of the day. However, as an example, when you go to, how many of you ever been to a casino? I'm not a real, when are you going to interview me about my 3 check? Okay. I'll check the messages. Okay. So where did you message me? Cause I don't really be on like, YouTube Messenger or anything. YouTube has a messenger. I don't know. Right. But where did you message me? It's better to message me on either Instagram or Facebook, but, or you can just email me at support@shesgotgoals.com. You can do that too. So, but I would definitely love to interview you about your 3 within a year for sure. So anyways, I'm not a gambler, but I don't, because I don't really play with money, but I have like played a little bit, at like I've gone to Vegas and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just put some money in a machine, right? So I remember one time, thank you, Jax. I remember one time I went to Vegas and we're in a casino and I'm the only one that's like, I don't play with money, but I was like, just have some fun, right? I'm like, okay, well, I'm just have a little bit of fun, right? So I put $1 in a machine. So in this machine, you can either put $1 or you can put $100, right? You can put $1 or you can put $100 in this machine, right? So for me, at the time when I had a scarcity mindset, I feared if I put $100, I'm gonna lose $100. If I put $1, then I'm playing it safe. So a lot of times we are playing it safe with our money, right? We want to play it safe with our money because with scarcity mindset, we're thinking about the loss bet more so than we think about the wins, right? So I actually hit on the dollar. So the dollar turned into $1,000, right? But guess what? So that's like $1 goes into $1,000 1,000 times. Okay. So guess what would have happened? So even though it seems like a win, I really lost because guess what? If I would have played bigger, I would have won bigger. If I would have played $100 and multiplied that by 1,000 times, then that would have been, what is it? $1 million? Would that have been $1 million? Let me do the math on that, y'all. So $100 times 1,000, that would have been $100,000. That would have been, so if I would have played $100 and won that 1,000 times, then that would have been $100,000, but yet I won 1,000 because I played small. I played small. So you either gonna go big or you're gonna go home when it comes to creating wealth and winning for yourself. You cannot be cheap on yourself. You have to be willing to pay to take bigger risks. So now watch this. There's a story in the Bible. It's a story about Elijah and a widow. So how many of you are familiar with that story? Yes. Yeah. So a lot of times when I was growing up, we would hear of all these biblical stories like, oh, okay, well, that's cute, right? Oh, that's nice. She had faith, right? She had faith and did what the man of God told her to do. But we missed a lot of what the Bible was really designed to help us to accomplish. And a lot of things were taken from the Bible because if we knew how to apply those principles, like everybody would be very wealthy. Everybody would be hella wealthy. You'll be able to manifest some things into existence and all those different things. But they extracted, they moved a lot of things away from the Bible, but there's still some gems in the Bible that you can actually apply to your life and actually see some things change in a way that it multiplies your income, your revenues, your wealth, your everything, right? And so, like the book of Timothy, absolutely. So the woman in the widow in the Bible, like she had lost her husband, and he left her with her boys and a bunch of debt. So she owed because he had debt. The debt automatically transferred to her, right? And her children, right? And so the debtors were coming after her, like, hey, your husband owed me this money. You owe this debt. And she was broke. She didn't have much of nothing. And so along comes this man of God who knocks on her door. And he's like, hey, God said, give me some bread. And I'm paraphrasing here a little bit. He said, give me your resources. What do you have in your house? It's like, well, I don't really have much, right? And a lot of us, we've been in positions, and I've been in positions. I'm grateful that I'm not in that position anymore, but now I'm in a position to where I'm able to educate other people on how to get themselves out. But you got to be open, you got to be coachable, you got to be willing to take risks on yourself, right? If you're not willing to risk on yourself or take a risk on yourself or to bet on yourself, how could you expect anybody to want to bet on you if you won't even bet on yourself? It makes absolutely no sense, right? So anyways, he says, well, give me your oil. Give me your piece of bread. I was sent here by God to ask you for this piece of bread. And she said, well, all I have is this little bit of flour, is a little bit of oil. And I was just planning on baking my last piece of bread. And me and my children, we're going to lay down and die. Right. This is just like a lot of times it's like you have opportunities to make investments in yourself, like to circulate, to put your investments into currency so that it can actually breathe life into your finances and come back multifold. But a lot of times you're like, well, all I have is just this little, and I was just planning on paying, my car note. Duh. I mean, I'm not say duh. I was just planning on paying my car note, thus spending the money as opposed to investing the money to make money, so I'll never be in this position again. So he told her, he said, well, I want you to go out into the marketplace and borrow all the vessels that you can get. And I want you to pour that oil in all the vessels, right? And she did it out of obedience. She did it, right? So he told her to go borrow. Now watch this. Now in the world, we were told that borrowing and debt is bad, but he told her in the Bible, biblical speaking, these are principles in the Bible that unless you understand them, they mean nothing to you. But until you understand them, then you can apply them to your situation and your circumstances, and you can know how to get out of lack. You can know how to free yourself from being stuck. You won't know how to do that until you go read it and understand it for yourself, right? So you got to have understanding for yourself. And so he told her to go do that, and she did it. She came back and she began to pour the oil, and before you know it, all of the vessels were filled until she had no more vessels, but yet the oil was still pouring. So she got herself into what? The overflow. So what she did not know was he taught her, this Bible study, it's turning into a little bit of Bible study, but I got to lay the foundation, y'all. He taught her how to go create wealth for herself. Go create a business. You got to go borrow and create the business so that you can get into the overflow and use the overflow to pay the people that you owe. And now you have more left over to create profits for yourself. If you don't borrow, if you don't know how to leverage debt, y'all, I'm just telling you, you will never get out of your situation. But here's the problem. I'm going to share with you, like, I didn't even know Miles Monroe was the best. Oh, thank you. Look, here's the problem. I'm going to share my screen again. I don't know how I unshared it. I didn't mean to unshare it, but here's the problem. Let's just say there's an opportunity. Maybe you're in a situation where you're like, well, I'm just gonna, it's the end of the year, and I'm just gonna take my last, and I'm just gonna, pay my mortgage, and I gotta pay my car note, just still water. Right. I'm just putting money into the still water that don't bring me nothing back in return, that kills my cash flow, that kills the abundance, that kills my prosperity, that disables me from the ability to multiply and being fruitfulness. Right. And so here's an opportunity you have. Let's just say there's an opportunity. Let's just say there's $100,000 opportunity for you. Right. Let's just say, for instance, maybe you make $80,000 a year in your business, on your job. Maybe you make that. And with that income, there's somebody out there that's willing to lend you $100,000, right? Because you're going to be paying that, right? They're willing to lend that $100,000 to you. But guess what? Nothing in life is free. There's a cost for borrowing. There's a cost for borrowing, right? It's a no-brainer. That's why the whole lending institution exists in the first place. It's a cost for it, right? But yet this person that's willing to give you the money, right? You need $100,000 because you found a educational program or some type of training or some type of investment that's going to show you how to take that $100,000 and multiply it 10 times. Multiply it. So I say multiply, not add $1, not add $0.00005, not add, but multiply that $100,000 10 times, right? That's $1 million. That's $1 million. That's $1 million. Because guess what? Now, the best investment that you can make, and I'm not just saying this, and this is like the realest of the realists, right? The best investment, I'm going to make it personal, that I have ever made was investing in educational programs that showed me how to multiply my revenues, my money, my lifestyle, my health, my wealth, everything. How to multiply, because guess what? Knowledge is power when you apply it. So having knowledge that shows you how to multiply, that's the best thing that you can ever invest in. It's better than investing in the the stock market, right? I mean, you'll make a little bit of money in the stock market, but what you know can set you free, right? You should know, when you know the truth really does set you free, because when you invest in knowledge, then guess what? Nobody can go into your head and remove that knowledge. Now you know how to multiply all of your money by 10x or more. And you know how to do that over and over and over and over and over and over again. And now, so now you see this vehicle, right? You see this vehicle, the ability to, or the opportunity to be able to invest in something that maybe costs $100,000. Okay, and that's going to show you how to make $1 million. $1 million in a year, $1 million in a month, $1 million in a day, or whatever your goal is, right? So, by the way, one of the most what do I say? Like profound coaches, leaders, experts that I've ever talked to has told me this one thing that I never forgot. And it became a reality for me when I began to apply this knowledge to myself, my life, and my business. He said that it's easier to make $1 million in a month than it is to make $1 million in a year. It's Byron Golden. He said it's easier to make $1 million in a month than it is to make $1 million in a year. And me at the time, I couldn't grasp that concept. I'm like, all people want to do is learn how to make $1 million in a year. Like, what are you talking about, right? We've all made millions of dollars, like over a decade, 10 years, we've made that $1 million. But we've made it so slow that the outgo was bigger than the income, that at the end of the decade, you're still not a millionaire. You just made millions of dollars, right? But it all went out. You didn't circulate that money. It had no life. You didn't invest any of it, right? So it just all went out. It came in and it went out. And you're like, where did my money go? That's where it went. It came in and it went out on all the things that we were programmed in school to go out and consume. Consume cars and consume bags and consume shoes and consume the designer things. We've been taught to consume, especially in the Black community. Like, the Black and brown community is worth trillions of dollars annually. That's why they target us. They market to us. They target us simply because all we know, we've been programmed down to consume, not to actually circulate, invest, and actually become the creators that we were designed to be, right? We were designed to create. If God created the heavens, the earth, the world, he created the trees, the fish, the fowls, the land. He created all those things. What does that say about God? He's a creator, and he created us in his own image, which means that we're creators naturally, and our creation is what is going to create wealth for us. However, we've been robbed of our ability to understand how creative we are, and instead we will take our gifts and we give it to people for pennies on a dollar, for an hourly rate. We give it to people for an hourly rate instead of allowing ourselves to operate in our own gifts and actually leverage our gifts to create wealth for ourselves. So anyway, here's this opportunity, right? But this person, this bank, this credit card company, this entity that's willing to lend you the money that will set you free, they say, well, we're going to charge 26%, right? But here's another one of the poverty programming traps that we fall into. We look at the 26%. 26% of $100,000 is $26,000. That's the cost of borrowing money. And we look at that, and our eyes are big on this, the cost. What does it cost, right? Sometimes the first thing that people ask, and I see it all the time. The first question that people ask, the first question that people ask on average, whenever they see an opportunity that's going to show them how to make hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars, the first question is, how much does it cost? Wrong question, right? But we've been programmed to ask those type of questions. The real question that we as creators, as doers, as action takers should be asking is, how much is it going to make me? Because when you focus on the expense rather than the bonus or the benefit of it, then you get lost in the shuffle and you end up staying exactly where you are, right? So $26,000. If you're the type of person if you're a consumer, right? If you're a consumer, you have a consuming mindset and you're just so used to throwing your money out there, right? And not circulating, and it has no currency, no life into it, right? Then you're looking at this, you're like, oh, it's going to cost me $26,000 to borrow. I'm not going to pay that because that's really just going to leave me, what, $64,000? That don't make any sense. At the end of the day, I'm not going to borrow $100,000 to go invest in a $100,000 program that's going to teach me how to 10x that every single year, multitudes over. Your eyes are on what is it costing you now, right? So because of the $26,000 cost of borrowing, the COB, the cost of borrowing, because of that, what you have done was aborted the $1 million that you would have learned had you taken the risk and bet on yourself. So when people, choose the little over the much, what that says is that you're still stuck in a poverty programming trap. And it's really going to be hard for you to really get ahead, right? There is no way that you could ever make $1 million in a month, or even make $1 million in a year, because your whole mindset is still stuck, because we've been programmed over years and years and years and years. We're talking about, if you started school at preschool, kindergarten, we're talking about over 12 years of programming you to focus on this. 12 years, that's a lot of time, right? And then you take that 12 years and you still have that same mindset for 20, 30 more years. And now that 12 years have multiplied your ignorance to stay broke. It's multiplied. It's hard to break old habits. It's hard to break that old. So you got to be intentional. How do you be intentional? Well, you have to surround yourself with people who have broken themselves out of the poverty trap. You have to surround yourself with information and knowledge that's going to teach you the right way to do things. It's going to teach you how to break the generational curses that not only you have passed down to your children, but your parents passed down to you, and then their parents passed down to them, right? Because if you had the option to choose between $26,000 and $1 million, and it's just clearly in your face, which one would you choose? You're going to choose $1 million a year, easier, all that. You're going to choose that, right? But why do we not choose that? Because we're worried about what somebody else is going to get for helping us. You're worried about that. Like, you're worried about this lender, what's going into his pocket for helping you get access to something that you don't have access to, because you don't have the financial capacity to access it, or the knowledge that when you access it, that you will be able to grow and gain by accessing that knowledge. You don't have access to it, so you stay stuck where you are, right? You stay stuck where you are. I'm just trying to share with you how I was able to free myself. I didn't become a millionaire, multimillionaire, multiple millions. I didn't become that by focusing on what it's going to cost. I became that by focusing on who do I need to become to change my mindset, so that I'm looking at the long-term benefit, the outcome for myself and my family. What habits and thought patterns do I need to break? What questions do I need to stop asking? What questions do I need to ask, right? And so now you have aborted your ability to even make $1 million, right? So then he goes on to say, my coach, right, who's also now my client, he comes back to say, well, it's easier to make $1 million in a day. Well, at first, before he said that, it's easier to make $1 million in a week than it is to make it in a month. And I'm really flabbergasted. I'm just like, my mind is blown. It's like, what are you talking about? It's easier to make $1 million in a day than it is to make $1 million in a week. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? Because it is. And I realized that it is. Money is just math. In fact, money is the physical, is energy, and it's only the physical manifestation of what's already in your mind. So if you're not producing the wealth that you want, then you have to change your mind about how you think about money, how you view about money, the things that you believe about money, the fears that you have around money, like your fear of losing money. That all of that stuff has to change in order for you to attract money. Because when you're afraid to lose money, then guess what you do? The world, the universe, it says that money is going to be repelled from you because you're afraid of it. Period. You're afraid of it. If you're afraid of money, that's probably why money is not flowing to you. In order for money to flow to you, you cannot be afraid of money. Can't be afraid to gain it, as well as you cannot be afraid to risk it and lose it. You cannot, because guess what? When you are an action taker, any knowledge that you gain about how to make money, when you take action on that, of course, sometimes you have to tweak some things, and of course, sometimes you have to refine some things. But when you're an action taker, you're going to get multitudes of your money back, and it's going to continue to grow as long as you continue to do the work. Because we were called to do what? To be fruitful and to multiply and to have life and more abundantly on this earth as we want it to have it in heaven, right? But we've been duped. So the widow, what she did was she created a business, borrowing other people's resources to pay off her debt, to give the man his bread, to then now she just dismissed the idea of baking her last piece of bread and laying down, and that she just dismissed that, and now she got herself into the realm of abundance. Right? She didn't care how much she had to pay back to the people who lent her the vessels and lent her the extra oil, and she didn't care about that and it shouldn't even matter. It shouldn't even matter. So that's the problem. Is like if it's gonna cost you. So say for instance, for me, here's the thing that I've learned. Let's take that same $100,000 educational information that I need to have, that's going to show me how to make millions of dollars in a month, in a day, in a week. It's going to show me how to do that. And once I know how to do that, now I have the know-how and I can do it. As long as I'm taking action upon those things, I can do it. Right. And so let's just say I need access to that same $100,000. Right. But it's going to cost 100%. Like they're going to charge me 100%. Right. Which means that I'm going to have to pay back $200,000. Now look at this. Now watch this. Now I'm going to have to pay them back not only the $100,000 that I borrowed, but I'm going to have to pay them back an extra $100,000. So I borrowed $100,000, and now I got to pay them back an extra $100,000 because the return, their interest rate is 100%. You may look at this 100% and be like, nah, I ain't about to do that. But guess what? This asset that you have gained, this asset that you have gained is showing you exactly what you need to do and how you need to execute, and what you need to execute upon to be able to make $1 million in a year, a day, a week, and a month. A day in a month, right? A year, a month, a day, a week, if you want, right? If you want to. So now you have the ability to have this knowledge now. Now, if it costs you $200,000, but you've gained $1 million your first year, how much did it really cost you? Right? Because you take that million, we'll take 1 million, and you minus 200,000. That's $800,000. Not only did you get in this $800,000 your $200,000 back, right? So this million gave you your $200,000 back, but it also gave you $800,000 in profits. So what do you care? What do you care? What do you care if you have to pay 100%? What should you care, right? I know a lot of you care. And the reason why you care is because the poverty programming trap that's been designed. But you got to think about, money is supposed to beget money. Everything produces after its own kind, right? Everything was designed and created to produce after its own kind, right? So you should not care about this if you're investing in an asset, not a liability. You should 100% care if you're investing in a Louis Vuitton bag, because that Louis Vuitton bag is not going to bring you back money. Now watch this. Let's just say an apple, okay? I don't know how many apples are in an apple tree. I'm gonna look it up. How many seeds are in an apple? Okay, let's see if Google can tell me. Average apple contains only about 5 to 8 seeds. Now that's a lie. How many seeds are in each apple? 10 seeds? No. Well, let's just say 10. Okay. Let's say 10. Okay. Let's just say that's true. I believe there's more than 10 seeds in an apple, but this is the information that Google is giving me, right? So I'm using Google as a source right now. So let's just say there's an apple, right? So how many seeds does it take to produce an apple? It takes one seed. So you have one seed, right? $1 that you produced or somebody gave you, and you planted that seed and grew into a nice tree. And on that one seed, little became much. One seed produced, let's just say 100 apples. One seed produced 100 apples. And there's 10 seeds per apple. So you take 100 times 10. 100 times 10, that's 1,000. So not only did you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 apples. So not only did you get 100 apples, you got 100 apples that has 10 seeds. That's 1,000 seeds. And that 1,000 seeds is going to, when you plant that, each 1,000 seeds is going to multiply by 10, right? And it's going to also give you 10 times 100. So the numbers just continue to multiply. So that's the overall, the overall point of it is one seed. All you got to do is plant one small seed. One small seed is going to give you the multitude. It's going to multiply, and every seed that you multiply is going to have seeds within those seeds. And so that's how you actually get to circulate money. That's how money should be working for you. Now, the thing about it, one thing that I learned. So here's the thing. Thank you, 10,000. So 10,000. So it has 10,000 seeds, right? So that's a lot. I mean, 10,000, that's a lot. So anyway, so here's the thing. Like, y'all, we have been so programmed in, like, the more successful, I would say the more successful I've become, the more knowledge I've been able to come into, the more higher level knowledge. And one thing that I recently learned, and I'm not an expert yet, I'm still learning this. One thing that I actually learned is we were taught in school and childhood to go into get a job, go into, put your money into the bank, put your money into the banking system and save your money by addition, over a long period of time. So we've just been taught wrong, right? But one thing that I've learned recently is even in that, here's what the banking system does to your money. Now, you may know this. You may have an idea or of an inkling, but you don't know, how these wealthy people, they really, really know. You don't know. So when you put your money in the bank, guess what? They're loaning it out. They loan it out. But also another component to that, that I've learned, they loan it out and they give you 0.0000 interest. So another thing that I've learned that goes even deeper is that the banking system was designed to work completely different. The real banking system, right? Somebody type real banking system. There's some truth out there that until you learn how to circulate your money and to create wealth with your money, that you're probably not going to know this stuff. But I'm just going to give you like a heads up for when you do get ready to get there, right? Get ready to go there. So the real banking system was designed for you to have vehicles. That's why I always talk about your business is supposed to be a vehicle, because guess what? So instead of spending money out to pay this bill and that bill and spending money, you can circulate your money by when you create a vehicle, which could be a business, it could be a trust, it could be an investment account. And then everything that you pay out of that becomes tax deductible, which it will circulate back to you, which means you'll be able to get credits back. That's the real banking system, right? You'll be able to get some money back. Any money that you put out that you don't get something back, you're doing it wrong. Somebody said you're spending it wrong, you're putting it in the wrong places, you're doing it wrong, you're thinking about it wrong. So if it's not coming back to you, your system is broken. If it's not coming back to you in multitude, your system is broken. If it's not coming back to you, period, your system is broken, right? And so what I've learned about the real banking system is when you put your money into a bank, the government is supposed to give you 10 times whatever that is back as a refund. So So I'm just telling y'all, you got to be in the inner circle. You got to be in the inner circle. You got to be connected in the inner circle. Yes, you have to invest to get in inner circles that teaches you wealth, and you're going to become very wealthy. So don't worry about however much the percentage is of the loan that you got to get to. Like, all of that is small people thinking. It's just small people thinking. It's just stop thinking small. It's time to level up. Right? If you're ready to level up your money, you got to level up your mindset. It's just time to level up, because on this other level, it's just crazy. So just imagine you've made, let's just imagine, I'm going to share my screen again. Let's just imagine, when you're talking about multitudes, right? Just imagine the real banking system. For every dollar you put in, they multiply it by 10. Okay. And this is the truth. Like, this is the honest to God truth. This is the stuff that I found out. And this is why Donald Trump, this is why he paid $750 in taxes. And he talks about this. He talks about it. But it's gone over so many of our heads, because we've been programmed to think things differently. We've been programmed to give our money and to put it in to where other people are benefiting off of us. But we're so blind to the truth that this is why foreigners come over and they understand the banking system in the United States, and they understand the lending system in the United States, and they get so much further ahead than natural born people that are here in America, because we're so busy worried about 26% or whatever. We're so busy worried about the small things that we can't get ahead, because we've been so brainwashed and dumbed down to and that we miss our blessing, and we miss our ability, and we miss the mark to be able to be fruitful and to multiply. So just imagine this. So let's just say you have maybe you make 6 figures on your job. I'm just going to use this easy number, right? Maybe you make 6 figures, 100,000 on your job. Maybe you make that on your job. Maybe you make 6 figures in your business. Maybe you make $100,000 in your business, right? And so making $100,000 in your business, when the money that you make in your business, you run it through the bank, the real banking system. And there's a way that you have to do this. There's a way that you have to basically systematically do banking the right way with the right vehicles in order for this to work for you. And I can't get into the details, but if you want to know, hit me up on social media, and I'll give you the expert who's taught and currently is teaching me this stuff, right? So let's say you run your money through the real banking system. So $100,000, the real banking system is the government is going to give you 10 times that back. That's $1 million. So you put $100,000 in, that's $1 million that you're getting back out, right? And then you take that, and that's $1 million guaranteed that you're getting back out, right? Of course, the IRS is coming to get their little piece. That's $1 million, but you just 10x money that your money is working for you. Money begets money. You put your money into circulation and it's coming back tenfold. Who cares if they come in to get 10 or 20%? Who cares? Because it just your same money that you're not making money on right now has already came back tenfold. So if they come and say, well, we want 10% of that, then you still have 90%. So don't be greedy. It's okay. Just continue to circulate. Because guess what? This is not it. The real banking system also says that when you have this set up the correct way, and then out of your $100,000, or say $100,000, you've spent $80,000 on out of this particular banking system on bills like your rent or your mortgage or your car and your groceries and maybe your payroll. You spent these things, $80,000. So then this right here also becomes tax deductible off the $1 million. So now you have $80,000 tax deductible, full 100% tax deductible. So all the money that you spent is tax deductible, and it comes back to you in another refund of $80,000. And then that refund goes into this account, which then it circulates 10 times, and it comes back to you 800-fold, right? Because you didn't 10x that, and it comes back to you in 800. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because of lack of knowledge, lack of information, lack of willingness to bet on you, lack of willingness to learn. I'm just saying, like there's some real information out there, but we're so quick to sign documents. we're so quick to, and I'm not talking about, what is it, bankrate.com, where some banks are giving like 3%, 5% back on your money. All of that is smoke in the air. It's smoke in your face. It's smoke for you to say, oh, okay, I'd rather take 5% than 0.2%, and which is good. But guess what? 10x is better than 5% when you do it the right way. So anyway, I say all of that to say, y'all, I'm just saying, we're getting ready to go into a new season. And I have, it's been some years that I've been sharing information. And a lot of times people they're just stuck. They're stuck at investing. They're stuck at circulation. They're stuck at, putting your money into currency so that it can come back to you in multitude, because they cherish the seed. The seed is not the harvest. The seed is not the harvest. And I'll say that again. The seed is not the harvest. The seed is the thing that you plant so that you can reap the harvest. But in order for you to reap the harvest, you got to be willing to till the ground, to do the work. You got to be willing to water the seed, right? To grow and expand your knowledge and get yourself out of your own way. When you are communing with other broke people, you broke, I'm broke, let's get together and have a mastermind. What are you talking about? What's happening in that mastermind? A whole bunch of complaining and negativity and toxic. What, you broke, I'm broke. Can't nobody help nobody. You can't teach me nothing. Like, I'm just saying those. Like, if your circle is with people that are in the same position as you, then you have to find yourself a new circle. And sometimes, like everything, sometimes you have to be willing to invest in yourself to get into the right circle. Like the thing that I have never, ever thought that in a million years that I will be investing seeds of hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into the right circle. And I'm telling you, the seed that I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, like I remember when I didn't even have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And like the widow in the Bible, what I did was I borrowed to get myself in the game. So I'm able to have the hundreds of thousands of dollars to get myself in the room, to learn the knowledge that I have learned that have helped me to generate what I thought would never be possible in a decade. Was very little to be possible in a year. What I've been able to do, generate millions of dollars in a single day. The knowledge is out there, but so many people that I've seen have run, like I can see your prime, like I can see like the businesses that you have brought to me, like that you guys have come and say, well, I have this business and I want to make millions of dollars. And I'm like, well, like I have programs. I have a $150,000 year-long mastermind that's going to teach you how to grow and scale your business to 5 to 10 million. And we show you and we help you on that, right? But people look at the $150,000 and they're like, well, I was just going to take my little bit of bread and I was going to just go lay down and just stay poor, right? This is crazy. It's crazy. It's just crazy. The things that I see and hear is it's just crazy. Oh, but I thought you said you want to learn how to make hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, now is not a good time. When is now is not, when is the time for you? When is it the best time for you to create wealth? Right? You want to wait till you're 60, 70 years old to do it, where you have very little time left to enjoy it. Right? So let's just talk. I'm being 100% transparent and real today. Like when is the best time? It doesn't make sense, the things that I hear. And so the investments that I've made, and trust me, I've been there. I have been in positions where years ago, before I learned the things that I've learned, and before I've taken bets and chances on myself, and before I understood circulation, and before I really understood my value and basically how to really grow in business and as an entrepreneur and as a mom and as a wife, before I knew all of these things, I've had repossessions. I've had the lights shut off. I've dug between the couch pillows looking for coins so I could put some gas money in my car. I've been there. So I know the situation. And I know when you're trying to make decisions based off your situations, those are bad decisions that you make. You have to make decisions based off where you want to be and figure out a way to make it happen, because that is the only way to change your situation to where you're never going to be in that situation again. And I'm not saying that every every opportunity is going to be a great opportunity for everybody, right? You got to know what is the right opportunity for you. And what we have been doing here with our company is we have been showing entrepreneurs how to create multitudes of wealth, how to take your little seed, how to take your little seed and plant it and nurture it to really be able to grow. And we've had people who's come and who's was probably making 50,000, 60,000 in their business. And they've been able to borrow the money, like by any means necessary. They borrowed it, they've pulled it out of their home equity that didn't have, that wasn't circulating for them. It wasn't bringing them money. It was just sitting there. They've invested it in knowledge and have gone on to secure multi-million-dollar contracts. Multi-million-dollar contracts. Truthfully, multi. How do you go from charging someone maybe $150 an hour to being able to secure a multiple $1,000,000 contract for a year of service? How do you do that? Knowledge. You got to learn. There's some gaps that you have to close, right? When I say it's not about the government contracting thing. Like, and I know I talk about that a lot. That's a tool. That's a vehicle that you can use to leverage, to infuse massive revenues, to multiply your income. And even beyond multiplying your income, because every level there's going to be another devil that you have to overcome. Like if money is a problem right now, then guess what? You have to fix money problems. Right? Before you can grow money, you got to fix money problems. And sometimes you have to be strategic in how you fix those money problems, but leveraging debt and leveraging credit and leveraging all that stuff is going to be key for that. But as you begin to gain money and create wealth, then guess what? Now you're going to have wealthy people's problems. That's a whole nother level of problems that you're going to have to solve. It's not like you're just going to come get a contract and you're going to be wealthy and the rest of your life is going to be, hey, we get to skip around and do nothing, right? You still got to work to maintain that, right? And on this particular level, now you're going to have wealthy people issues, which is like tax strategies. Now, how can I minimize on these taxes, right? And there's answers to that stuff. But guess what? Somebody has the answer, and guess what? They're not going to give it to you for free. So stop thinking that everything in life is going to be free, or just because people are making money or they're wealthy or whatever, that they should be giving back to you for free. Well, what did you give, right? What did you give in order for somebody to have to give back? You didn't give nothing. Right? If you don't bet on you, how can you expect somebody else to bet on you? Right? You have to invest in yourself, right? And I feel like I'm speaking to the church or preaching to the church, but I'm just saying, like, it's just true, right? So for me, it's like you can give a man a loaf. You can give a man a loaf. And this is in the Bible. You can give a man a loaf, or you can teach him how to fish. We teach people how to fish, and so that's what we do. We're not going to give you. I don't have no contracts to give you. I can't guarantee. What is the guarantee? What do you mean? What is the guarantee? Are you going to do the work? Well, why are you worried about guarantees if you know that you're going to do the work? Do you know that you're a flake? Are you telling me that you're a flake and you don't follow through and you give up too soon? Like, is that really what you're saying? Because you can't even guarantee that you're going to wake up tomorrow, right? So can't nobody guarantee you success, but what they can do is guarantee you a system and a blueprint that actually works. When you work it, you have to work it, right? And so anyways, this is what we're doing. You can teach a man, give a man a loaf. You give a man, teach him how to fish. For me, I teach people how to fish. So, which means that you have to come with your hook, be right alongside of me, and we fishing, right? You can't borrow my hook. You can't have my hook, right? But you can bring your hook and I can show you how to fish. But you got to be willing to bet on yourself in order for you to fish in this pool of wealth and knowledge and all that and so on and so forth, right? So anyways, hope this was good for you. But that's how those are some of the things that I wanted to share with you, how to avoid the programming trap. Stop thinking about how much it's going to cost to borrow money, because that's how where can you email me for the information? I'll put let me see if I can put my email here. Just give me 1 second to drop it here. Contact@shesgot goals.com. That's my email. So yeah. So if you're interested in learning about this real banking information, I'm happy to share with you. My coach that's teaching me this stuff, like next year it's gonna be kind of different. It's gonna be kind of different because I'm learning the truth, right? So just imagine all that, y'all. It's just like your money is supposed to be making money for you. And if it's not, you're doing it all wrong. You're spending it wrong. You're investing it wrong. You're saving it wrong. I'm just saying, you got to learn the truth, right? You got to learn how to make it make sense. But also, and also it's just like, if you can make money, if you can make $1 million in a shorter period of time, right? Versus over a long period of time, over a decade. If you made $1 million over a decade, does that make you a millionaire? No, you've made millions, but you're not a millionaire. But if you make that in a year, that same million in a year, then now you're a millionaire. Because guess what? Your outgo, your outcome, your outgo, your expenses it should not foresee $1 million in a year. It should not foresee that unless you've increased your expenses as you've made the millions, which is all bad money management in the first place, right? But once you know how to make $1 million in a year, then you know how to do that. Then you know how to multiply that million to 10 million, right? Once you know how to make $1 million, then you know how to scale that million to 10 million, because all you're doing is just doubling down and tripling down, right? And so anyways, we have a 5-day challenge. The next challenge is coming up in the next I think couple weeks. In the next couple weeks, where we're showing people how to actually position themselves to land lucrative government contracts, so they're able to multiply. This is just the first step. So they're able to multiply their wealth. Now, this is just the first step. Getting pre-qualified is the first step. And I know there are people who are like, well, I'm already registered in SAM and I already have 1 million certifications. Well, do you have any results? Have you gotten any contracts? No, I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, well, now we got to learn how to take off everything that you think you know and be coachable to start from scratch, right? Because you missed something. If you've done all this and you've done all that, then you don't know what you don't know. You missed something. And yeah, you're going to have to go back and start from scratch. And we're going to help you build that from scratch. But you got to be coachable and open. Like if you come in, you're like, oh, I already got this and I already got that. All I need is this one part. How do you know that all you need is this one part? Because if you already knew that, then you'd already be doing that. And you'd already be getting results. You don't know what you don't know. Only the person who's done it before and has helped hundreds of other people do it can show you where the gaps are, right? And so anyways, in the pre-qualification challenge, we're helping people get pre-qualified for contracts, government contracts, showing them how to land lucrative government contracts for their business, so they're able to multiply their income, right? So again, my friend, my colleague, my client who went from charging $150 an hour to do specific trainings to actually securing her first contract that was $23,000 for the hour, to securing another contract that was multiple 6 figures, for a period, a quarter of a time, like for a quarter, to provide hourly trainings. And now a $2 million contract to do the exact same thing. So you can get paid doing the exact same thing, spending the exact same amount of time that you're already spending, or less. Like you actually get your time back. So you get a multitude of your time back, right? Be fruitful and multiply your time so you could be here, right? Have time to be here and enjoy the wealth, and multiply your wealth, more money and more time, right? So that is how you actually align yourself with our purpose, our calling, and how God created us to be. So anyways, if you have a business, you have to have a business, right? And your business is making money. You have to be making some money, okay? And you have at least fair credit of at least 650, something like that. That's fair, right? Then this can work for you. If you have no money, then you got to fix your money problem. You gotta have no money. So it's a lot of things that you can do to fix money. Like, we're creators, y'all. We were created to create, right? So if money is your problem, then government contracting is not the solution to fixing your money problem. Government contracting is a solution for scaling and growing your already existing money that you have. It's not a fix a money problem. Fix a money problem. If you have no money, it means that you have to get creative and use your creativeness, your creativity to create some money for yourself so you can start getting some cash flow, because then now you have some cash flow to go multiply. So let's just keep it real. You got to start the momentum, right? So some ideas. Here's some ideas, and I'm gonna go. I spoke a little bit longer than I usually speak today, but here's some ideas, right? So some ideas of how you can make money. You can create ebooks, right? You can write a book. You can write a book about how you overcame depression, how you overcame divorce, how you overcame parenting for the first time. How you can write an ebook on everything, anything, right? And sell that, make some money, right? You can create a course around your ebook, the topic, showing people, walking them through the steps, and you can sell that for hundreds of dollars or even $1,000 or $2,000. You can do that. You can do that on automation, right? So that's how you can start to make some money. You can create a multi-level marketing company, or you can join a multi-level marketing company that's designed around products that serves your purpose or whatever, and you can sell that to your students so they can use those products, within the course and stuff like that. Now you're making money on top of money on top of money. So you got to create some money momentum in order for your money to be able to grow and maximize and to grow, right? And then some other things. Okay, so there's some free money out there. Free money is good, right? These are some of the things that I've done before, right? There's free money, class action lawsuits, right? So if you're a consume, buy things. Class action lawsuits, they're always having some type of money sharing thing for class actions on things like milk and things, cheese, bread, shoes, clothes, TVs, and stuff that you probably already brought, and now you get to get a little bit of money back, right? Because of those things or whatever. There's unclaimed money. So if you go to unclaimed.org, there's unclaimed money that's there. You can help people who have money sitting in the treasury access their money. You can go on and do searches, be like, oh, I found $100,000 over here. So if you give me 10%, I'll show you how to get it. Like, you can do these things. You have to be creative in order to fix your money problems. And then when you fix your money problems, now you have a little bit of money to get yourself in the game. You have a little bit of money to play with. And then whatever from there, then you can leverage debt, you can leverage cards, you can leverage other people's money to get access to these higher level masterminds and trainings and educational programs that's going to teach you how to take your money and multiply it by multiple millions of dollars, right? But you got to start somewhere. You have to know where you are in order to know where you need to start. Okay, everybody ain't ready for just scale to millions. Truthfully, everybody ain't ready to just scale to millions. Some people, like, you need to go read some books. The Millionaire Next Door, go read that. That's a good book to start, right? The Millionaire Next Door. Don't Duck the Government, They've Got Your Money. That's my book. Go read that. Go read it and understand some things, right? Before you start talking about scaling from 0 to million. You can't scale from 0 to millions. You got to have something to offer. And if you don't have nothing, you got to figure out how to create something out of nothing using your creativity. So anyways, govconchallenge.com is where you would come to get your business pre-qualified for government contracts. I'm telling you, when I've done the math on this, there's 33 million businesses in the US right now, right? So the money that's on the table with the government, hey, Parker, the money that's on the table with the government, every one of you that have a business, you got a business, let me know in the chat. Throw some fireballs, let me know something. Put ones, throw some fire. If you have a business, let me know in the chat. So I want to know that I'm talking to the right people. Every business in America, in the US, has the ability to at least secure $1 million a year from the government with the money that the government has, based on the $33 million, the 33 million businesses that exist in the US right now. With the money that's on the table, it's enough for all 33 million businesses to have $1 million a year, right? But the problem is the majority, what is it? Said 97%. Did you not know? Like, these stats is crazy that I read. 97% of businesses make under $100,000, but yet there are trillions of dollars that are on the table available from the government to small businesses. But guess what? They're so busy being trapped in the programming, poverty mindset. They're so busy being trapped by thinking about interest rate and what it's going to cost to invest in education so I can know how to go after my million. So I can learn how to multiply my million, worried about somebody else's pockets. What about yours? What about your children? What about your children's children? What about their children? It says that a wise man is supposed to leave an inheritance for his children, not debt, not confusion, not bills. You're supposed to leave an inheritance for your children. And in order for you to do that, you got to do something different. You got to be willing to get out of your own way. You got to be willing to break bad habits. You got to be willing to grow. You got to be willing to read some books, because you cannot go with the same energy. This is me. Woe is me, right? Woe is me. These people, they did this to me and I want to be a millionaire. That bad, low energy. And you talking about you want to be a millionaire? No. Millionaires have high energy. They're positive thinking. They don't blame other people for their faults and reasons why they're in their positions, because you are responsible for you. Nobody. You're looking for somebody to blame. Look in the mirror. You're the blame for where you are. You are. No, not the ex-husband who held you back, the ex-wife that held you back, not the teachers that told you was dumb. Like, none of that stuff. You are responsible for you and where you are. And in order for you to have more, you got to be willing to become more, right? You got to be willing to do more. You got to be willing to take bigger risk. You got to be willing to get in other rooms. You got to be willing to come out of your house and network and get in the rooms with the people that can help you take your life to another level, right? So anyways, I didn't mean for that. I didn't mean for this to go this long, but I just got to let the spirit use me. When it's here, it's coming down. I'm like, we're in another season. Like, some people have been here in the same season, the same stuck year after year after year after year. You've been stuck, right? You've been stuck and can't get ahead, and you're trying to figure out why. Why is because of the years of programming that's been designed. And until you become aware of the programming that's been designed to keep you where you are, then you don't know how to climb out of the poverty programming trap. So anyways, if you go to govconchallenge.com, you get registered for our upcoming challenge. It's a challenge. Challenge means it's going to challenge you, right? It's going to challenge you where you are. It's going to challenge you to become more. It's going to challenge you to think more. It's going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. It's going to challenge you to learn more about your business and your business potential. It's going to challenge you to learn more about money and how it really works. It's a challenge, right? It's not an easy thing. It's not for everybody. It's a challenge, right? So if you go in thinking you're going to come out the same way, then guess what? It's probably not going to be for you. But the challenge is only $97 for general seating. But I wouldn't want to just be a general member. If I was you, I would want to be VIP or platinum member, because then I can come on with Dr. K and ask her questions, right? That's me. Like, I want to bet on me. I want to be as close to the fire as I possibly can. So that overflow, that anointed overflow, can flow right to me, so I can get these nuggets that everybody else that's in the other rooms, the low bearing fruit rooms, like they over there, they gonna miss this. Like, I want to be right there when the anointing just overflows and it just comes onto me, just like the woman with the issue of blood. She said, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, if I can just touch him, that healing virtue is going to come to me. And Jesus didn't know at the time, for those Bible scholars that are out there, he didn't even know who touched him. He just knew that some healing virtue had left him by somebody who had faith, faith enough to get in the room. Faith enough to get close enough to him to touch his garment, not his hand, not his skin, but his garment, right? And then he said, because of your faith, your faith has made you whole. You are healed, right? Because of that. But anyways, that's just the word. And sometimes we hear these biblical stories and we don't understand how to apply them to our lives. Like, I know, because I grew up in a church, and all these stories I've known all this time, but I never knew them. like of how it applies to our life. Like I never knew that there was an application of those stories that you're supposed to walk away with, and the application is what's going to help you grow. But anyways, y'all got the website, govconchallenge.com. I want to see you in the room. I want to see you in the VIP room so that you're able to be in the room to ask questions, right? And that is just the first step. It is the pre-qualification. It's the pre-qual. It's the prerequisite to actually working with me in a mastermind that's going to show you, now that you're pre-qualified, here are the action steps we're going to take together over this 90-day sprint. This is a 90-day sprint, but not everybody is going to get there, going to be accepted in that mastermind. We're going to see, how do you do in the pre-challenge, in the pre-qual challenge. If you're not doing the work in the challenge, then I can't expect that you're going to do the work at this higher level, right? Because we want to see you get results. So if you're dragging your feet in over a 5-day period, and you're not executing, and you're not asking questions, and you're not really, then you're just wasting your time just being in a room. I don't want you to just be in a room. I want you to change and be transformed. Yeah, to be transformed. It says, let this mind be in you that is also in Christ. It's going to be a transformation of the mindset in order for you to transform your lifestyle and to transform and grow your wealth. So anyways, let me go. Let me get out of here, y'all. We're getting ready to go into a new season. This year, we've made a handful of new millionaires for the first time. Not for the first time that we've done it, but for the first time they've become millionaires this year, right? This coming year, we're looking to double our impact. We're looking to double our impact and help. Even if you're already, making millions in your business, we're gonna help you multiply those millions. If you're making 6 figures, we're going to show you how to grow your 6 figures to millions of dollars. We want to impact the lives of others. Are you going to be one of them, or are you going to be the person that continues to live off the poverty programming trap and continue to have the same problems, right? The same problems over and over and over for the next decade. What's going to happen in the next decade if you're not ready? If you're not ready, if you're not in a better place, a bigger place, a better place, right, to where you can grow in life and in business and financial, like what's going to happen for yourself and your family? What's going to happen when you get ready to retire? Are you even ready? Like, do you have the money that you need set aside? What happens if there's like, God forbid, a war that breaks out, right? And all the grocery stores shut down and all the banks shut down with your money in it. What's going to happen, right? You gotta start thinking about these things in order for you to be in a position to where you're going to be self-sustained. You can maybe go till some of your own land that the government has allowed, gave you the money to be able to go buy some acres of land. And now that's agricultural land. And now you can be self-sustainable within your own, ecosystem. You don't need what's in the bank, because now you have underground money or whatever, or you're a part of this banking system that pays you 10x every single year what you put through the bank, right? And then gives you exponentially back the money that you spent out of that bank account. They give it back to you as a tax write-off, right? Which minimizes the amount of taxes. Like, this is circulation, right? But anyways, let me get out of here. GovConChallenge.com. I'll see you guys in the room. Until next time, go be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and have dominion over all your situations, your circumstances. So we're here to help you not only learn how to make more money, but how to maximize your money and how to make your money make money, right? So that is the principle and the will of God. And this is what we're doing. This is what we're teaching. You want to be a part of that. The entry into being a part of that is to get yourself pre-qualified for government contracts by going to govconchallenge.com. This is where you're going to know all of the reasons why you should be doing this, all of the things that you need to do to actually do it successful, how much money is on the table for you, and if you're selling the right thing, or is there some things that you can do to actually shift yourself into a realm of prosperity. So you guys have a great evening. Have a great new season, and we'll see you on the money side. GovConChallenge.com. We'll see you in the challenge. Have a great evening. And that's it for now.